And for those who may not be aware, essentially what Follow Up Boss said is that effective November of 2025, a shared customer is defined as a person in your Follow Up Boss database who also has a Zillow account. That means that if an agent imports a contact from their personal sphere into Follow Up Boss, and later that same person opens or logs into Zillow account, for example, by following a Zillow Smart Link, the agent shares, then under the current definitions, that contact would become a mutual customer. Once a contact is classified as mutual, Zillow, because they own Follow Up Boss, can combine data from both systems, meaning the agent's notes or communications in Follow Up Boss and the Zillow's user data, and use it within Zillow's ecosystem. Personalization, for product improvement, and for marketing analytics under the Zillow Group policy. They will be able to kind of see if someone in your database they're in your database, but they also have a Zillow account. If so, whatever notes you've taken on the individual, whatever kind of communications, they can then use that data and information to make their kind of system more efficient, is what they're saying. Zillow cannot directly contact or prospect that person using your imported data. That's what everybody's kind of, up in arms about and certainly concerned about, and I understand why. The expanded data use applies to Zillow's internal systems and personalization efforts, not outbound solicitation. So key takeaway, yes, if a previously private lead later creates a Zillow account, such as via an agent shared smart link, that person's status shifts to a mutual customer. This enables Zillow to analyze and combine their FUB activity with their Zillow behavior, though it does not give Zillow permission to directly market to or to call that contact using the FUB stored data. That's a lot of information at one time. I know I have some thoughts about that. What are your initial thoughts about that as I share that with you, Jose?
I'd like to revert to your thoughts.
Yeah, it's good.
I made some notes, but let me hear your kind of opinion on it.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I was having this conversation with somebody today. I think we live in a world where over the last, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years, there's been this big gap of trust. Like we don't trust institutions, we don't trust, governments, we don't trust doctors even, which is kind of wild. We're looking to influencers to give us information over physicians, right? Trust is really, really important, right? And I think Zillow as a company has smiled before and say, hey, we're not going to do this thing, and then ended up doing it. So I don't think their kind of bank account of trust is very high. And as such, that's resulting in kind of a lot of this feedback and pushback that we're seeing from the agent community and being really concerned about it. And I think, they are a publicly traded company. I get that. And as such, they have a fiduciary responsibility to shareholders, not agents. And their fiduciary responsibility is to make a profit. So they're basically saying, like, trust us. And I think that's what's making people like agents feel really uncomfortable because they don't have a track record of being trustworthy, right? Because I think they've smiled a lot and said, like, yeah, it'll be fine. And then it's not, I remember a time where like the listing agent would, get the leads from their listing. And then slowly but surely that started to change, right? If you wanted to find the listing agents down below and they're pushing, their kind of products, Zillow Flex. So I do think that ultimately though, Leo, the CEO of EXP, he gave a presentation and he said that 66% of consumers, buyers and sellers, the reason that they did a transaction with an individual agent was because of physical interaction. That still plays a major part. And, to his point, he was like, well, somebody could be in your kind of database and then they go onto Zillow and they end up with they click on a button and a Zillow Flex agent helps them and you don't get the business anyway. So I understand that. I think that there's like some long-term kind of things to think through in terms of like possibilities because they're just becoming a centralized, the difference between decentralized databases and centralized ones, I think is going to be a key driving issue economically, financially, governments, and in our business as well. Because whenever there's a centralized power that controls all the data, they have more control perhaps than what we would like them to have.
Like sometimes we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but we know the direction where it's going, basically. And by
Yeah.
knowing the direction where it's going, you can kind of make certain conclusions. So I think the first step is just them buying FUB at the very beginning, like they're buying it because of the data component associated with it. So this move right here just kind of moves in that direction of having access to more information. Even like Facebook, like so what Facebook does is it collects all the data, or Meta collects all the data from you, and then it buys different data pieces from like credit bureaus and other companies, and it makes like their marketing more effective. So I think this is just one of those things. I also believe that like it's not just Follow Up Boss, bro. They own Showing Time as well too. They own Zillow. They own a loan company, so they're just collecting these
Hey, they own
different.
DotLoop.
Yeah, DotLoop. So it's not like just this move. It's like almost like they're like it's like this billionaire in Florida is building like a 26-acre compound, and he started doing like land assemblage. So like 10 years ago, he bought like 3 properties. Then another opportunity came up, he bought like another 4 properties. His vision was already like, "Hey, look, I'm going to collect this area and I'm going to make this huge compound." And as properties were coming up, he was just collecting them to eventually fulfill that vision of building that 26-acre compound, like right on the beach, bro. Like, I don't know what it's called, but it's like, it looked amazing. It's kind of like the same thing that Zillow's doing. It's kind of like collecting the dot loop. It's got Zillow, it's got Follow Up Boss. Now it's got Showing Time. It's like they're collecting all of the pieces. And if you put the pieces together, their goal is to basically, like, I would say, replace agents.
Yeah, to definitely have like a one-stop shop
Stop.
in terms of like a tile on your phone where you can do everything in one place.
And they're
And
putting
again,
it.
I'm aware that they're a broker in all, in all the states, right? They have to be in order to get the IDX feed.
Yeah,
So they're collecting all these pieces for data
yeah,
specifically because data is the new currency, right? Like these
yeah,
companies you mentioned, Facebook. Think about this, bro. They get their product for free, which is our data and our information. We give it to them willingly and freely, and then they sell it.
in exchange, yeah.
Yeah. So, they're definitely collecting all this data. They have a lot
Well
of data with regards to real estate, and I think
well
that that is the ultimate play for sure.
well, even then, like, if you think about it, we've been given our data to Zillow. Like, how many agents go like, "Hey, can you leave a review for me online?" Sure. Where would you like for me to leave the review?" "Oh,
That's right.
go on Zillow and leave the review." "Oh, what's
Yeah.
the process to leave a review?" "Oh, you gotta create an account. You gotta put in your phone number and you gotta put in your
Hey,
email
that's
name."
interesting, Jose, because as soon as they create an account, now it's a mutual client. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, now they have the ability to market to them. So I think it's like, okay, so I don't think you can beat a company like Zillow. So whenever you're competing, you got to figure out like, okay, what advantage do I have? So like, let's say me and Aaron were playing basketball, you know, like let's just say that, right? Like I'm
Hey,
like, okay,
just for giggles, let's just
let's just say that I would basically look at Aaron and be like, okay, what are his strengths and what are his weaknesses? And I'd be like, okay, he's probably not expecting me to go left. And I actually have a decent left-handed layup. So I'm gonna burn him a couple times on the left-hand side to set him up so that now he's kind of thinking, and then I'm gonna burn him a couple times on the right-hand side, and now he's not gonna know what way I'm gonna go, basically. So the reason I bring this up is that you can't compete against Zillow nationally. You're not going to be able to, but how can you compete with Zillow? You can compete with them locally. You
the
can
thing
beat them
that
with
they can't
relationships.
you can beat them with relationships, and you can beat them locally.
Yeah.
You can beat them with community, relationships, and branding, which is really about trust. So I remember I shared with you, we were talking, and I was like, yeah, man, like what I'm aware of is the currency of the future. It's not going to be information. It's not going to be money, even. It's trust. You know, in your marketplace, like you're known as somebody who can be trusted.
Yeah.
And for that reason, if somebody was thinking about doing something, like they're going to prefer to do it with you versus somebody that they don't know and trust. So I think that's the thing to be focused on.
Yeah.
I
How do
think
I build
I think
community?
initially, yeah, how do I build community? How do I build trust? How do I cultivate relationships? How can I be known as the hyperlocal expert in my geographic area?
How can I become the hyperlocal expert as well too? Like, hey, do I know my craft better than anybody else?
That's right.
Meaning like I'll ask agents and I'll be like, hey bro, what are the timelines on a 1031 exchange? And they'll be like, I'm like, bro, you call yourself a realtor, but you don't even know your craft.
Nah,
So it's
dude.
like really becoming that expert, becoming that professional that people know that when they reach out to you, hey, look, this guy knows what he's doing and he's going to take care of me. So
That's
it's like
exactly.
really honing in on your skills and then building that trust with people as well too.
Yeah, so I think that the initial response, I understand it because it comes from a place of like fear, it comes
Scarcity.
scarcity, it comes from a place of like, I think the narrative of like the big bag enemy versus me, is a common one that it's easy to kind of get riled up about.
There's
Uh,
nothing they can do to stop it.
there's
It's
nothing you
already it's already on its way. It's like, "Okay, I'm not gonna be able to beat that game. How can I create an environment where I take an unfair share
share of the business. And I
of the
think
business?"
that stat of like 66% of people do business because of a physical interaction, that's very interesting. And I also think I know experientially because we've built community, we've built kind of a brand, and because of that, we're trusted, in the space by agents, and that is true in kind of that game just as it's true in this game. So I wouldn't be overly concerned about it. If you're current, I recommend FUB all the time because I think it's the most user friendly. Anybody that the most user-friendly interface, which increases the probability that you're actually gonna use it. Anybody that I know, the vast majority of people I know that have built really big kind of teams or businesses, whether it's on the
Useful.
creative or the retail, they use FUB, bro.
Well, if you're gonna not use FUB because of that, you might as well not send your clients for reviews on Zillow.
Oh,
You might
yeah.
as well not use DotLoop. You might as well not use Showing Time, and you might as well not use the FUB. Because other than that, it's like you're contributing either way,
Yeah, and
you
then
know?
the only option would be is to try to create your own kind of like decentralized kind of solution because any like third party CRM can be bought, any of them. So
All
like,
of them, and
you
they're
know what I mean?
going to be bought because they are offering them ridiculous amounts of money to buy
Mhm.
them. Like, I remember, like, Real Geeks when it got started, it got sold for to a title company because they wanted the data for n I think north of $100,000,000, bro.
Yeah, and then people are like, "Oh, I can't believe they did that, Mike, bro. You would have done that in 3 seconds."
Yeah,
Initially, again, it's something that people get riled up about. I understand why. I understand the fear. I do. At the same time, like you're saying, dude, if that's what's true, don't get any reviews on Zillow. Like, don't use Showing Time. Like, don't use DotLoop. Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? And I also think that the thing that we should be hyper focused on is the thing that we have control over. It's the thing that they can't do really well. They do data better than we will ever do it. And there was a time and a place for that to happen, and it just didn't take place, with the Association of Realtors, whatever, like it didn't happen. So we don't have control of that data. Fine. Well, the thing that we can double down on and have control over is relationships because they can't do that. They also can't be the hyper local trusted expert. So frequency equals familiarity, building community, building brand, using media as a mechanism to be seen as a guide that's trusted, will cause you to continue to get your unfair share.
It's constantly be innovating in your business to be able to provide more value than other people. So I'll go on listing appointments and somebody would be like, "Hey, look, like I want to list it with my friend, but hey, I'm struggling financially." I'm like, "Hey, what if I advance you $10,000 to
Mhm.
help you financially?" Like, "Oh my God, if you did that, I'll work with you." That's a product and a service that you're going above and beyond. I'm having trouble preparing my house for sale. Hey, what if I send my guys to help you box up all these items for you? Hey, I'm having trouble with selling the items. Hey, what if I help you with an estate sale? What if I help you with donations? What value am I providing to the marketplace that goes above and beyond simply just putting the property on the MLS? How am I staying in front of people as well too?
I want to really like impress upon any agent that's maybe watching this live or will watch it afterwards. These changes, these consolidations. I mean, think about what's happened this year and last year. Remember the whole change with the real estate commissions? Everybody thought, oh my gosh, like, we were hopping on calls, we were showing people how to present it. Really, it was like a nothing burger. Like, it really didn't impact things dramatically in a major way. Sure, do we have to augment a little bit, but not in a huge way. And commissions didn't come down dramatically either. Number two, we've seen lots of consolidation in our industry. Gary Keller sold the majority, at least, of KW to a private equity firm. Compass bought Anywhere and
Anywhere.
all their brands, right? Century 21, Coldwell Banker, Better Homes and Garden, Douglas Elliman, like all those, right? Now we see this thing coming up. There'll be more of that, guys, over the next 12, 18, 24 months because we're in this consolidation stage where like there's lots of disruption. So the thing that's important that me and Jose want you guys to know, kind of the guiding light, is this. There are people in your marketplace that want to buy and sell real estate every single day. They want a real estate agent to be involved in it because it's the biggest transaction that they'll probably ever do in their whole life. They still want a human. Okay. People are like, oh, AI, it's another thing. It's going to take over our business. Fine. People vote with their money. 66% of transactions between a buyer and a seller and an agent happen because the agent interacted with them physically. The reality is that there are sources of leads that have high densities, motivated, qualified sellers in them. We've just been programmed because of 20, 40, 50 years, truthfully, of like lazy thinking, where we're just triangulating the same kind of four horsemen, like expireds, cancels, for sale by owners, just listed, just sold, past client centers of influence. But now we live in a world where we can make data-driven decisions, and there's better sources that have higher densities that we should be focusing on, and we should be learning the skills required in order to convert that business. And it's something we can go after. We don't have to play this lead game with these providers. We don't have to be at their whim. And remember, you can either survive in the jungle or you can live in the zoo. And the way you teach an animal that is free and aggressive and dangerous to live in the zoo is you feed it. And I think most of us, truthfully, down deep, like we just want to be fed. But you have to make a decision in this business, because if you're fed, you're going to be at their control.
Who is the most important partner that you have in your business to help you to build an empire? Who's your most important partner?
Spouse.
Or significant other, yes or yes? For that reason, there needs to be extreme clarity, yes, around a few things. The thing to think about is if hard work led to success, the donkey would own the farm. It takes something more than that.